Hello everyone. It's been a year, but that's fine. We are going to be doing what I call basic features. We will first be fixing the sounds in our map, so as you've noticed, probably whenever you do something like drink a perk or anything like that, or certain weapons specifically also are missing sounds, like the PPSH I know for a fact has no noises or anything like that. And so the first thing we're going to be doing today is fixing sounds. And then after we fix sounds, we are going to be fixing dogs. So that would be either, if you want dogs in your map, I'll be doing that. I will also be doing how to remove them if you don't want dog rounds in your map. After that, I will be doing mystery box, how to get a working mystery box in your map and all that kind of stuff. And then after that, I'll be doing what's basically prefabs, but I'll be showing you how to put things like the power switch and other perk machines and wall weapons and that kind of stuff into your map. Okay, so starting with sounds, there will be a link to this WinRAR archive download in the description, and you're just going to want to download that. I did not make this. The credit for this would have to go to Graffiti. He's the one that actually compiled these and did the alias for it, which is nice. That's one thing that you'll learn about the Custom Zombies community, is that a lot of work will already be done for you. You just need to know what to do with that work that is done. And hey, I'm here to walk you through it. And so you're going to have this, and you can open the instructions because there's a line of code that you'll actually have to copy from them. So now after you have this, you're going to want to go to your Black Ops 3 root folder. Now I have a shortcut for it on my desktop, but if you don't, you can always go into your Steam, right-click on Black Ops 3 Mod Tools, go to Properties, go to Local Files, and click on Browse. Or alternatively, you can, in your Mod Tools, go to whatever map. You can open map folder. That'll bring you to a Windows Explorer from which you can click back into the Black Ops 3 root folder. Okay. So, fixing our sounds. Once you have this archive downloaded, you're going to want to drag this stuff into the root folder, but you want to make sure you do it in the margin. Do not drag it into one of these folders on accident. Whenever someone says the root folder, they are referring specifically to this umbrella folder, the Black Ops 3 folder that is located directly inside of your Steam Apps Common. So drag it into this folder. For me, I'm just going to hit yes because my files are already slightly altered. There's some stuff in there that's not. There's some stuff in there that is not, that you wouldn't have. So I'm just going to replace that. I feel perfectly comfortable having done that. And now the sound assets will have put themselves in the right places all on their own. You don't have to worry about putting them in the right place. And now after you've done that, you're going to have to go to whichever map you want to be putting them into. So now here's where, if you were using this method, going to open map folder would be very useful. So you're going to want to open up your map folder. And then after opening your map folder, you're going to want to go into Sounds, Zone Config, and here you will have an SZC file. You can open it. This is a new machine. This is a new machine. So for me, I'm going to have to tell it to open with Sublime, but you can use absolutely whatever application you want to open this that is a text application. For the most part, there are some you can't use the rich text editor. You want to use, I take back what I said. You want to get Sublime. I will in the description put a link to a Jaybird video that will show you exactly how to set up Sublime with the GSC language, which is what Black Ops 3 runs in. Okay, so after you open that, you'll have this. Now, all you want to do from here is move down and right past this, put that line of code that you find in the instructions. Sorry, I know that I'm moving kind of slowly. I'm not trying to be condescending or anything, but I'm also trying to make sure that I don't accidentally leave someone behind. You can put this right after this. This is not required. In the instructions of things, they will always tell you to put it at the bottom of stuff. You don't need to do that. So say that you want to organize this SZC file between aliases and ambient, so you just take this line of code that I just put in, and you could instead put it right down here. That would also work. Either of these work. So now after having done that, you will have a working sound space in your map now. All your guns should have sounds. Whenever you drink a perk-a-cola, you should have the drinking noise, the burp, the breaking glass, and all that kind of stuff. So that is how you fix your sound in your map. Next, we're going to be doing dogs. Okay, so next we're going to be removing dogs. We're doing removing dogs before adding dogs because removing dogs takes a lot less time. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to your Black Ops 3 root folder again. And from there, you're going to want to go share, raw, scripts, ZM, and now here's all of the scripts. This is basically like what the zombies mode runs on. You do not want to edit any of these. You could permanently damage like all of your mods, and you'd have to wait for your files to validate, and there's a whole lot of files, and you don't want to have to do that. So what you're going to want to do is come down to zm_usermaps and copy this file. After copying this file, you're going to want to go back to your root. After returning to the root folder, you're going to want to go to user maps, then to the map from which you want to remove dogs. Go into scripts, go into ZM, and then paste ZM_usermap. You're going to want to open ZM_usermap, and just get on this screen, and you're going to want to go down to line 146, and here you're going to find this, and this variable is a true or false, so changing it from 1 to 0 sets it to false, and then saving, of course, and that will disable dog rounds. Now, we need to go and tell the map to use this version of ZM user map instead of the shared version. So now from here, you're going to want to, you can go from here and then go to the zone file, go to the zone file, or alternatively, you can open up on here, right click the map, and then click on edit. It's right there in the name. You're going to want to click on edit zone file, and that will also open up the zone file for you. Now, once you're here, you're going to want to copy one of these lines. Either of these lines work. And now you're going to want to replace this with zm_usermaps.gsc. A much safer way to do this is if you were to go into your scripts ZM, see, this is what I mean, and click on rename and control C it, you could then just paste it. My mistake that I made there is a perfect example of why you should probably just copy the name, because I thought it was called user maps. It's called user map. Now that you've done that, that will disable dogs in your map. Now let's get to adding dogs to your map, or rather fixing them, because as I'm sure you've noticed, dogs do not work on the map that, like the base map that you load up. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to add dogs into your map if you do want dogs, like working dogs. So you're going to want to go into the description. There will be a link to a UGX page where you can pick up this prefab. So this prefab, basically a prefabrication will allow you to avoid doing like certain bits of work in Radiant that you don't want to have to do, that like someone else has already done and they can just package up and send to you. So after downloading this prefab, you're going to want to go to your Black Ops 3 root folder, and then from there you're going to want to go over into map source and then prefabs, and then anything you want to put, anything you put in here in the prefabs folder, you'll be able to open up in Radiant from the prefab menu. So I'm just going to throw it in to ZM. So you can put that wherever you want. From here, you can put it wherever. And now you're going to want to go and open up Radiant. Okay, so now that you're in Radiant, you can go put down your spawner. So the way you're going to do this, ignore all of my windows. What you will probably have is your camera, texture, you'll have these two for sure, the XZ front, your camera, and you will probably have models and textures. You don't need entity, you will need your entity info open for this. You can open any of these windows at any point by going up here, and you can go down to them and click on them. So since we're doing prefabs, you'll see I have my prefab browser open right here. Let's say that I didn't, I would just right click up here and I'd go all the way down to prefab browser and I'd click on it. They are in alphabetical order. Once you've opened up your prefab browser, go to where you put that .map folder, so right here, dog_spawner.map, and you're going to want to drag that right in here. So there's two parts to this and you need to be very careful with how you do this. Now you're going to want to right click this, go down to prefab and click on stamp prefab. Whenever you stamp a prefab, you basically take that prefabrication and then you break it apart into its individual pieces so you can go and individually manipulate them. As you saw, this script struct immediately linked up to the zone because this is the start zone, start_zone. So your first part is this Hellhound model. All this Hellhound model does is, this is where the Hellhound will literally spawn, and you only need one of these in your map. All this does is enable them to spawn. So you do not want to keep this in your map because while it does not have collision initially once dog rounds start, it does have a collision from the beginning of the dog round throughout the dog round until the end of the dog round, and then when the dog round ends, it doesn't have collision anymore, but that basically means the player can run into it. So you don't want to like put it in a doorway or anything like that. You want to make sure to take it and move. You're going to want to make sure and take it and move it outside of the map where it won't interfere with anything, including zombies. So don't set it next to zombies either, but one thing that you do need to remember is that it will be invisible. So you can put it anywhere that you don't have to worry about someone or something walking into it. Now this is where the dog actually spawns, this script struct. Now the only script noteworthy it has is dog_location, and its target name is start_zone_spawners, the same as the zombie spawners, which also have the target name start_zone_spawners. So you will simply change that to the name of your zone, and we'll get to zoning very soon. And that is your spawner for dogs. That is, you've put dogs in your map. It was that easy. And you can copy and paste this however many times you want. It doesn't matter. You can put as many as you want anywhere you want, as long as they have the right KVPs on them. Okay, so now we're going to do the mystery box. We're going to be doing two things. We're going to be setting it up to where in that map's mystery box, we can change what's in it and certain properties about the weapons, and we will also be putting an actual physical mystery box into the map. Let's start by doing the first thing. So you're going to want to open your Black Ops 3 root folder again, and from there you're going to want to go share, raw, game data, weapons, ZM, and then copy this file, excuse me. You're going to want to go back here, and then you're going to want to go user maps, and then to the map that you're going to be adding this to, you will then make a folder named game data. You will make a folder named weapons. You will make a folder named ZM, and then in here, you will paste this. Now, before we look at that, we need to go initialize this properly. So what you're going to want to do is open up your map's zone folder. Once you've opened your zone folder, you're going to want to put this line in your zone folder. String, and I will put this in the description so you do not have to type it out, stringtable, comma, game data, and then weapons ZM level common weapons.csv. That will mean that your map will now use this version of, this version of the file as opposed to the shared version. And once again, you do not want to edit the shared version of any file because you could cause very real problems with your game, or rather your modding content. So now we're going to want to open this, and it's going to look like a mess, but don't worry, it all makes perfect sense. It all makes much more sense if you open it in a spreadsheet or like a table editing software like Excel, and I believe that you could open it in Google Sheets is what I think it's called, and then put it back into CSV. We're not going to go through that trouble. We're just going to look at this. So this is all of the weapons that will be in your box by default. This is all the weapons, excuse me, not just in your box, but this will be all the weapons in that map by default. Each of these things do stuff, like each of these commas. I don't want to get too far into it. I don't want to make this confusing. So, but each of these commas corresponds with one of the things that is up here. We can move on to actually putting the box inside of the map. Close this, we don't need this anymore. And you can close all your other folders. And now for the mystery box. Now the mystery box is also going to be a prefab. I have another link in the description. It's going to be titled. You'll be able to see it. Hey, okay, so this is Aura from the future. What I ended up doing is I took the box prefabs, which are still in the description. Go download them. But the zip link that you'll be downloading will have more boxes than the ones than like the four that you see in the video, because I actually went through and I made a bunch of extra box locations so you didn't have to go through to the prefabs and change the KVPs and stuff yourself. And I also took the liberty of making clips for the box locations as well. So I'm just warning you moving ahead. Do not worry if your box stuff is slightly different than mine. The ones that you're downloading are like updated versions, and there's more of them. So you're going to want to open up your folder here, your root folder, and you're going to want to do the same thing that you did before. So go to, where is it? There's map source, prefabs, and then you can make, like, I'm gonna make a folder, mystery_box, and then we're going to throw those prefabs into here. Now, into Radiant. Okay, so now that you're in a Radiant, you're going to want to go over back into your prefab browser, which I discussed how to open this earlier, but if you skipped to this part, didn't want to watch the other part, you just go in here, and this is all in alphabetical order. But I barely know the English language. There we go. Prefab browser. It'll open over here, and you will have one called... Oh my god, I'm blind. Here's your mystery box. Now, here's how it works. Mysterybox_start will always start the mystery box there. If you do not want the mystery box to have a set start, if you want the mystery box to have a random start, just don't use box_start.map. Just use like the numbered ones. Okay, so let's say that you exceed the amount of here. Actually, for it to work, you do actually have to, in the map, exceed the amount of numbered boxes. So let me place out these other boxes. Okay, so I've set down the 4 box locations using the box start, and now we're going to want another, say that your map is maybe like a little bit larger or whatever, and you want more than just 4, or if you have a random box, just 3 locations. Well, that's a very easy fix. You're going to want to drag in. It can be really any of them. It doesn't, like the one that you choose does not make a difference, and you're going to want to go to stamp prefab. Once you've stamped the prefab, you're going to want to go through until you find H is to hide, until you find this right here. So I did not delete that for context. If you press H, you can hide something. If you hit Shift H, it unhides stuff. So here's the determiner on the mystery box. You can also set the cost to something else if you'd like. So we have 3 numbered ones on the map already, because the box start, the prefab for the box start, its script noteworthy is start, not a number. So we're just going to want to set this to 4. Now there's one more thing that you need to edit here aside from just that script noteworthy. Hide these, hide this, and you'll have another one here. It looks invisible, but you can see it on your top-down view, it's green. You need to also set this right here to 4. That makes this whole thing, thank you, Radiant, that makes this whole thing a now functioning extra box, extra box that you can put wherever you want inside of your map. I believe that's all for boxes, and so we're going to move on to the next part. Okay, so we're getting near the end now. Now I'm going to show you how to drag in perk machines, power switch, all that kind of stuff, just in case you either like deleted them whenever you loaded up your map and were building, or you want like the perks that aren't like there. So obviously whenever it starts up, I think the perks that are missing are Stamina Up, Mule Kick, and Deadshot Daiquiri. So now for your perks and your power switch, you're just going to go back over to your prefab browser, go to ZM, and then ZM Core. And so first you have your power switch, which is right here, and you can drag that into the map, and whenever it gets used, it will operate or act like a normal power switch. So now down here, all these are your actually wall weapons, so if you want to put down any wall weapons, you can do that. And then down here, all the vending things are your perks. So like you have Quick Revive, and you have Speed Cola and Juggernaut, so you can go through and place those down wherever you want them. Now for wall weapons, one thing you want to be sure of is on front of them is a texture, and you want to make sure that that texture is facing the direction in which they will buy the weapon. So if you actually move like into the prefab, like here you can see the chalk drawing. So I need to make sure that when I put it on this wall, the chalk drawing part is pointing outwards where it will be purchased. And on here, you can see the chalk drawing. It's kind of like a line. What you want to do is make sure that it is not in the wall, because if it's in the wall, it'll Z-fight with the wall. You actually want to make it just not in the wall. So boom, and that's perfect. Now after you've placed your stuff down wherever you want it, or in the future of course, that is all for perks and Wallbuys and stuff like that. So we're going to move on to the final section of the video. So the last thing I'm going to do today is show you how to change the player's starting weapon and points. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to open your maps folder, go to scripts, ZM, and then your GSC file, not your CSC file. Go to your GSC file, and down here under ZM_user map main, but above this comment that says set up the level zombie zone volumes, you're going to want to put this is for points, clearly, and both of these will be in the description. And I believe that this is like the max amount of points you can have, period, which is why it's what you'll always see it set to. And then this is how you change your starting weapon, and obviously this is also your last stand. This is your last stand weapon, so if you go down, this is what you get. And then this is your solo last stand weapon. And that is going to be all for this video. Today I showed you how to set up some basic features such as dogs, weapons, perks, and that kind of stuff. And in the next video, I am going to show you how to make doors. Thank you for watching.